I wanted to begin 2026 Gregorian year on 1/11. Actually, it's 11/11 because 2026 breaks down to a 1. So this day is truly auspicious. More than any other calendar year, 2026 ending in 1 is, wow, we are starting a new complete chapter. It's almost like being on card 0 of the tarot deck. Very important place to begin where I felt called to come forward to you about has to do with the 3 malas of impurity. And this is a concept that I'm eager to share with you because you're going to find a lot of resonance with it. And it's important to begin on what's clouding our perception before we can try and set any intentions and navigate our life from a place of true inner perception. Malas are the subtle inner veils that distort how we see ourselves and the world. They act like filters and they dull our clarity. What they do is make you feel limited or separate, and they keep us caught in old attachments. So these layers prevent us from fully resting in our natural, expansive self. Now, mala is a Sanskrit word. The root mal means to stain, to make impure, and the meaning is a subtle impurity, stain, or veil covering consciousness. So most people are living their lives operating from these 3 malas, from the wounded self, from karmic layers, and of course the programmed subconscious, from what Kashmir Shaivism calls the 3 malas. Anvala mala is the feeling of I'm small, I'm lacking, I'm alone, the sense of limitation. Maya mala, the veil of illusion, attachment to appearances and the outcomes, makes the unreal look real and the real look distant. Karma mala, the old habits, cravings, actions, and reactions that bind us. So Anvala mala is the subtlest of the 3 impurities. It is the innate sense of feeling incomplete, separate from divine, infinite consciousness, from Shiva consciousness. And it's no wonder that people are constantly chasing for more or wanting more stimulation because there is that sense of feeling fractaled. There is that sense of not feeling whole and complete. But the logical mind is not going to understand that one is feeling this way because they're separate from infinite consciousness. The logical mind just doesn't operate that way. Instead, one is going to feel, I'm incomplete because I don't have enough funds in my bank account, because I had a really hard childhood I'm still trying to heal from. When in all actuality, this sense of incompleteness, of feeling separate, of feeling limited, is stemming from the root, which is not identifying yourself as infinite consciousness. So when it comes to manifesting or dreaming for oneself or visualizing, what do I really want in life? A person who is stuck in this sense of limitation, this limiting view of self, of reality, is not going to dream big. They're going to dream quite small. So they wouldn't dare to dream of, let's just use the example of like a home. They wouldn't dare to dream of a mega mansion. These are the types of people that don't dare to dream big or extend themselves out to something that they haven't already experienced. Because again, how could they think that they could have something so grand if they've never seen it, they've never identified with it? If they're trying to call for something in their life just from their egoic self, of course it would seem way too big to dream of something like that. But if they understood that they're part of the infinite consciousness, then they would know that to the universe, that's absolutely nothing. That is a speck on a speck of dust. 1/1,000,000th of a piece of dust for the universe to bring that forth for anyone. With Anvala mala, there's going to be very low self-esteem. There's going to be an undertone of low self-worth, a lot of validation seeking, a lot of comparing, a lot of jealousy. The next one is Maya mala. This one is the impurity of ignorance, the sense of duality, and illusion. So Maya, this derives from the word Maya, is the Leela, the grand play, the illusions within the reality, right? The way we believe that we are living in a physically based world, based off of our two external eyes and our senses. So this is where people start to identify themselves with labels. I am this political party. You are that political party. I am right. You are wrong. Good, bad, friend, enemy. We are living in a culture that is crazed with labels. And it's so funny how this really does fractal out with as above, so below, because labels within societies, within cultures, within demographics, and then even the way that in modern society, they label everything. You can't buy a piece of fruit without a label and a barcode on it. And so this labeling structure is part of the Maya, but it's gone completely out of control. And so the Maya Mala is something that most of us are constantly in. It is very hard to be on the non-dual path at all times. And so this is one that we have to find some real balance with. So as soon as you start to notice that you're feeling so structured with a particular order, with a particular label, you need to know that's not your actual true nature. That is the egoic nature leading and kind of taking hold of the game here. We want to stay away from that. And so simply by starting to observe what's going on and notice if you're doing it or if others are doing it is a good way to start separating yourself from that, because it can really weave itself in so many areas. And this is the karmic ties, and this is what we have to unbind from. Next is karma mala. This arises from your actions and the impressions accrued. These are karmic imprints that are influencing your present experiences. And this is also tied into the cycle of rebirth and suffering. Karma mala is associated with bondage to action and desired outcomes. People who are workaholics tend to be in this mechanism of working really, really hard to achieve a particular outcome. And they mistaken that as being their soul's purpose. But what can actually be happening on the back end is that they're actually obsessing over gaining a particular outcome so that they feel like they have control over their life. It becomes a personal egoic game of, see, I can do it. I am safe. I am in control. And so how that works is when you're actually engaging in the soul purpose, when you're actually participating in your soul's desires versus the external society's desires and expectations, your dharma is something you love so much you would do for free. Now, just because you're doing your dharma doesn't mean you don't get paid and you're not able to sustain yourself in reality. I want to make that clear. But dharma is something you do without expecting a particular outcome. For example, I am here now speaking to you because I needed to bring this message to you. I didn't want to keep this message just on my laptop. I didn't want to keep this message just to myself. And I did it without expecting an outcome. I'm not doing this right now because I think a million people are going to watch me or because I think I'm going to make money. I'm doing this because it's part of my dharma. And so there's micro things we engage in that are part of a overarching life purpose. And then there's things that are smaller that link us there. So with karma mala, people are going to have a lot of stress and anxiety because when things go good, they're going to be so happy and they're going to be hyper and emotions are going to be flooding outward and they're going to seem happy. But if things don't work out for them, then they're sad. They become the victim and they're not so happy. So you see how that has control over them. Whereas if you're doing your soul's purpose, you're in a more neutral state because you're not trying to gain anything. You're not trying to win something over. You just are doing what you're meant to be doing. So these are a little bit on the 3 malas. Learn the malas and catch the pattern. The more you're observant and the more that you even memorize them. You're able to call them out. This is going to conclude our video for 11/11. And thank you for being here. If you are not subscribed and you like the video, subscribe for more similar content. And if you're returning, I always thank you so much and appreciate you. Check out the links in my description. I've transferred everything into a new hub on Buy Me a Coffee. If you don't know what Buy Me a Coffee is, it's basically a website where you can donate some money to buy me a coffee, literally. I also have a shop in Buy Me a Coffee where you can sign up for an intro call with me for mentorship. You can get access to a free 4-day energy training quest to learn Qigong, to learn how to feel your energy and move your energy, to work with it outside of just these lectures on YouTube. I also have the Soul's Vow, Activating Your Sankalp Shakti, which is a workshop lecture I just released, available as well. So check it out. There's some freebies in there. And let me know what you think. Let me know how 2026 feels for you right now. And I will see you very soon.